Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Thursday afternoon here in the Eastern Time Zone of the USA. It's 1830 Zulu on October 21st, 2021. This is the DX Engineering Manufacturer Showcase. And this is a show where we bring on one of our over 160 different manufacturers that we represent and sell here at DX Engineering. And today we have Dr. Jack, N8NDL. And Dr. Jack is the President, CEO, and Chief Technical Officer of COMPACTenna. Hello, Jack.
Hello, Tim. It's great to see you again.
It's great to see you, Jack. How are things going? Are you making antennas faster than lightning up there?
They're going great, and thank you, DXE, and everyone there, including yourself and Terry, Katie, Melanie, Maria, all of you. Yeah, especially the 7.5 inch and 9 inch VHF UHF antennas, and it has necessitated that I contract out more and more as time goes along to USA tool and die shops, fab shops, machine shops, and particularly locally. Yes, in order to keep up with the demand and. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I must say, you know, in this world we're in right now, sourcing is quite an issue. But fortunately, I'm very nimble, and that's going fine. So thank you, Tim.
Good. Well, I know you have some slides, so why don't you go ahead and share your screen and bring up your slide deck.
All right, and thank you, Katie, again for the prep on this. Do we have it in full screen now?
No, go ahead and click on that from the beginning.
Oh, how surprising. I just clicked from the beginning again. It is not full screen?
No.
Interesting. Let's go ahead and eliminate it and bring it back up again and just reboot, okay?
All right.
All right, let's do that. All right. Let's go ahead and get this. And here we go. Sometimes that happens. Let's try one more time. I had it up in preparation, but we'll get it going here. And if that doesn't work, the secondary route will work.
Okay.
All right. Let's see where we have it here. And and here we are. All right. Let's bring that to there and bring this down. And let's go back to sharing screen. Here we go. Doing a redo. And share again. And here we bring it up. So right now we should see the outline on the left, but I'll go to the slideshow and from the beginning. And there we go. Do you see the whole screen now?
No. Let's see if we can advance the slides and we'll leave it as is.
Maybe. Okay. Tim, there is one other way that Katie and I found works automatically. Do you want me to try that? Because I'm like you. I like it to also be the full screen. So we'll try one more thing and then we'll just go with whatever your experience tells you. So let's go back to share screen again and share screen. And this time we'll do it this way. All right, we'll share that. There we go. All right. And then we'll go ahead and bring it up right there. All right. And then I'll go to from the beginning. Oops, I see what that happened there. Okay, let's go back to the slideshow from the beginning, and that should do it now for sure.
Yes, now we're good. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Really, there are only 5 slides. Today, what we're really doing are 3 different new models. Quite exciting, really. So on this slide, I just want to give a brief explanation because a minute, that's all. Small, high performance antennas. All right. So I just wanted to give a background on that, and then we're diving right into the models. In fact, if one goes to the homepage of COMPACTenna.com, one will see an explanation a video explanation near the top of the page that basically explains this, how it's possible. And it basically goes into the circuit equivalent of antennas and the basic field theory. Not yet the quantum physics of it. That's next year. I'll discuss that some more and some other things. But basically what it boils down to is 1, 2, 3. Again, only a minute here. There's an extended flat monofiller spiral Tesla-like coils inside. And what that does is very unique. You know, unlike the helical coils of all the antennas out there, it's very different. What it does is it takes all the matching and it's efficiently done within the physical construct of the geometric form of the antenna itself. So therefore, you don't have the loss that you have of standard internal and external component designs. That's number 1. Number 2, the magnetic field resonator. And what that is, it's a built-in resonating matching system, like I just discussed, but it becomes an effectual component of the electromagnetic field. So not only is it not lossy, it's actually radiating efficiently. You see, when you take standard technology short antennas, and let's just go basic 2 basic types. You have your shortened monopole, you know, with the load somewhere, the bottom, the middle, the top, all the way through, you know, and then you have your small loops, you know. Small loops have a definite a benefit in terms of the near field, but I won't go into that right now in terms of noisy environments. But basically, the shortened monopole, you have the E field and the M field in the near field, okay? And the resultant electromagnetic far field is essentially a summation. I'm just going to keep it short now of those 2 fields.
Jack, you're too far in the weeds.
Too far in the weeds. Well, okay, so real quick, the shortened monopole, the E field goes down, the M field goes way down. The small loops, there's almost no E field. The M field is better than you would expect. Here you have both strong E and H field. And then finally, you get an elliptical polarization that helps you with reliable range of reducing flutter in the real world. And that's why they've become so very popular. So next slide. Thank you for keep reeling me in there, Tim. All right, so there's 3 products. The first one is the LMR1. Well, as many of you know in the professional community, it stands for Land Mobile Radio. Now, this was created because a number of ham radio operators are also you know, government and commercial 2-way communications people, and then there are those that are purely that. And they asked, you know, is it possible that you could take this technology and give us, you know, some coverage, you know, in the land mobile radio area? Because certainly in the VHF arena, we don't have anything very good unless it's very tall, right? So I determined, and it was persistent, to give them everything, absolutely everything in a 9-inch antenna. 136 to 174, that's incredibly wide for a small antenna, but it has to do with that Tesla-like coil, flat monofiller. 380 to 512, you can see all those frequencies it covers: government, commercial 2-way radios, federal. 750 to 960, the entire area. And initial reports in the professional communications forums and arena community are very, very positive. And DXE now has it, and we'll be listing it any day now. So the second one is, see, this is interesting. Then the thought was, well, with this great performance of the LMR1 9-inch antenna, you know, similar to the Scan 3 that a lot of people really, really like, can you take the already high performance of the 7.5-inch model, like the 2M440, it's extremely popular, and just give it a little boost, you know, little edge for those people that can fit a 9-inch. Now, some people can't, you know. these big trucks and SUVs these days and the low-lying garages, they can't, but some can. And they would like to have that if they could have that extra boost, because at the end of the day, the 7.5 is already so powerful for its size that you add another dB and a half, you're up there with the huge antennas, not just close. Actually, even the small one beats in the obstructed world due to decreased flutter a lot of times, but you're just there with them no matter what, whether line of sight, non-line of sight, anything. So I did. And I'll show that at the end of the slide presentation as well. Then the last thing was this. The request was, well, okay, so we've got this mobile antenna, these various mobile antennas, the 2M440, the 2M22440, the Scan 3, the LMR1, great for mobile environment. What about base station? Well, two things happened. One, with the difficulty in getting product from throughout the world, that's one. But the other was, I noticed that the ground plane adapter kits, the radio kits that are out there, they weren't ideal, Tim. They even the VHF one, when you look at various parameters, and I'm going to have a slide just on that, they weren't ideal, and a lot of times the radios would fall out. So those are the three basic ones. Next slide. So we're almost halfway through here. All right. So at the top we have the 7.5-inch models already existing, extremely popular, and the 9-inch model. These are very popular. Unexpected performance from a small package. I think that's 4.6 or 4.7 at DXE, something like that. This is what it looks like for those that you haven't seen it. So 7.5-inch or 9-inch if it's a Scan 3. Standard NMO, although it does have the reliable leaf spring phosphor bronze there, which is very good. All this is made in USA. Actually, all of this is made locally. And then we have the new LMR1. So I said that it operated a lot of frequencies. It sure does, all of these. Now, it's very, very, very particularly peaking in this area, which is where you really want it, okay, in terms of SWR. But performance is across the whole band. And as you know, when you start dealing with military, federal, they're not as specific about things. But in the state, highway patrol, the local public service, police, fire, ambulance, all these different, and business, all these different arenas are just delighted as they're beginning to find out they can have a small antenna, not just for, 750, 900, 800, not only just, 380 to 512, but now even VHF as well, and broadband, not a single frequency or two frequencies, 1 megahertz wide, all this bandwidth. Now, for those of you that are, getting into the increasingly popular GMRS, you really can't beat it. It's NMERS. You really can't beat it. That's been proven. All right, I'll go to the next slide now. That's the LMR1. Next model, the new 2M440 Plus. What other name could it be called? The 2M440 is great. This is the 2M440 Plus. All the high performance of the 7.5-inch model 2M440 plus an additional about a dB and a half a gain. Oh, and greater power handling capacity with the consideration of other parameters thrown in. But so the 2M440 is really rated at 85 watts at 2 meters, and this one at 100 watts. Duty cycle 50%. Again, it's for those where the 9-inch is allowable or desirable, and the operator wants that extra edge. So, yeah, that's quite an antenna. All right, and then we'll move on to this slide. I want to say something about mobile installations. It's beginning to become increasingly something that people are aware of. COMPACTenna is different in so many ways, right? It's different in the physics, it's different in the application, everything's different. But it's not bad, it's actually good, right? Because generally with standard antenna technology, where do they want it to be on the vehicle? Where is the optimized position? Only one position, in the center of the roof. And that's if you don't have a sunroof or a moonroof, okay? This is different. It's actually less restrictive. it needs to be on the upper corners, okay? Especially for VHF SWR, it needs to be at the upper corners. There are a lot of corners of the vehicle, at least 4 upper corners, right? Depending on the kind of vehicle. So it's really less restrictive. You have these various locations. Back in the day, I as well as a hobbyist, would put an antenna on a vehicle, and it was like, I don't want to put it in the center of the vehicle. I certainly don't want to drill a hole there. What about the corners? And a lot of antennas, not all, but a lot of them, it's difficult, if not impossible, to get it matched up at the corners. So here you have those options now, and then you have, direct access of the coax into the vehicle. So I wanted to make mention of that. Now, something that has become very known, if you use a magnet mount, and there's nothing wrong with them, Tim, I'm not going to go into the calculations. They're on the install page on my website, just so people can see the calculations on that. There's nothing wrong with mag mounts, especially VHF and UHF, but the flat style ones give the best SWRs, okay? Not the tall ones, the flat style ones. And it's not surprising, because you know what? They have greater similarity, analogous to the through-hole mount, as close as you can get anyway. So just FYI on that kind of thing. But you can also use these, there's all kinds of brackets available now. Here's a universal style adjustable bracket near a corner of a hatchback. So many of us have the small SUVs, the crossovers, and you can put it there. A lot of people have pickup trucks these days, a very simple, inexpensive right angle L bracket there with the NMO mount. Just wanted to make mention of that. If you do these things, it just works. If you try something different, like the middle of the roof, you might struggle a little bit, because again, this is not the same technology. All right, next. This will be, in fact, our last slide. All right. This is the compact counterpoise. Now, the goal here was 2 things. One, sturdy. All right. Those are not whips. Those are aluminum rods, made in USA. Number 2, optimized what? Signal and SWR. And what is signal? Signal is gain, and signal is what we antenna design engineers call the elevation coordinate pattern, the pattern, okay? When you look at what's available out there, even the more pricey ones, you look at the VHF one, and it's not ideal for SWR, pattern, and gain across the board, nor is the UHF one for UHF. And the VHF one for UHF is not optimized across the board on those 3 parameters. So this is nothing brilliant. It's kind of clever. What I did through a process of guided iterations is came up with the exact lengths, the exact number, the exact angle in order to optimize the SWR, the pattern, and the performance, the gain, on VHF and UHF and 220 in between. This is plug and play. I'll tell you, if you take this compact counterpoise and you put that new 2M440 Plus on and just put on a couple of mass sections on the chimney, or one of those nice extended mass poles from DXE in your backyard, you have yourself a stealth, amazing performance. It's particularly great when you're below 100 to 150 feet above the ground, or height above average terrain, which we are 99% of the time, right? And so where the non-line of sight propagation is more substantial. And that all has to do with that magnetic field resonator and the diverse electromagnetic fields. That's where this thing really shines compared to even the very tall, very high gain standard technology comparison antennas that often just shoot the signal into the side of the hill or the building and don't really benefit you. So that is the end of the PowerPoint. I need to open it up back to Tim. Let me see if I can get this off of here.
Stop the share. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
All right, Jack, let's go into the chat room. Thank you very much for the presentation. Kate, Charlie, Victor, Mike says, I have the COMPACTenna model, 10 meters, 2 meters, 440, and it's on his pickup. It's the best mobile antenna he has ever used. So that is a great glowing comment.
Thank you.
See here.
Thank you, Charles.
Can these antennas be used as a phased vertical on a vehicle? I guess, can you put more than one on a vehicle?
Well, you certainly can. Now, one of the common things about any kind of technology is what we call parasitic interaction, right? So there's a certain amount of separation, and it depends on the resonant features and all of that. Let me give you the bottom line. If you're at least 0.6 wavelengths away, you're pretty much good to go. Okay, I guess, again, don't undermine me here. I'm giving you a bottom line. So if 2 meters, 6 feet, 0.6, 3.6 feet, if you're 3 feet plus away from another antenna, you're fine. Frankly, I run 2 of the COMPACTennas on the rear corners of my vehicle. There's no parasitic to speak of whatsoever in that regard. I hope that answers the question.
Yep. And Michael says, this is Kilo 4 Mike Juliet Fox. I have one of the COMPACTenna dual band antennas on my 2010 Tacoma and get good performance with it. Many thanks. Joe K0NEB is asking, what about HF? And of course, there are HF antennas. Just take a look on the DX Engineering website, Joe, and put COMPACTenna into the search, and you'll see the HF antennas that we have from Dr. Jack as well. Oscar Zulu 4 Papa Alpha Tango says, interesting presentation. And Aaron asks, do you make an antenna for 11 meters that might work on 10 meters too?
Okay, well, the antennas are wideband, and I do make an 11-meter antenna. Go to DXE's site there, my site. It's a CB/2M/440. So it works on all 3 bands, including a CB. It is broadbanded, but if you're going to be operating that at 10 meters, well, there is a 10-meter version, but if you were to operate it on 10 meters, you would need to use a tuner for that. And they're readily available these days.
All right. And Jack, I think there's a little bit of confusion out there. Dino asked, Jack, how do you phase the 2 corner antennas on your vehicle? Are you using them as separate functions? Now, you can't really phase antennas together in a directional pattern when the vehicle can go any direction. It would be tough to keep track of things, I think, Jack.
Tim, you're absolutely right. The phasing we see in mobile antennas are pretty much confined, for the most part, to the CB world, and that's what the truckers. And the reason that they do that is because by getting it roughly a quarter wavelength away and phasing them in phase, not quarter wavelength out of phase, in phase, is that they increase the signal azimuth coordinate pattern towards the front and the rear of the vehicle. And why do they do that? Because that's where the other truckers are on the highway. Okay.
Right, and it's a bi-directional pattern.
That's right, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Dennis says, why do I need extra capacity unit to increase my reception on a BTV6? I think that's a Hustler antenna for 40 and 80 meters. You do need the resonators, for 80 meters on the 6 BTV, but that's a separate antenna question, Dennis. And if you want to send us an email, we'd be happy to help you get your BTV working properly on 40 and 80 meters. And Jack, you have a little show and tell there before we wrap this up?
Oh, I sure do. All right, so here we have the new LMR1. All right, nice and shiny, and and of course underneath it has the L. So for L for LMR, they're all labeled underneath, and that is the phosphobronze and USA made NMO, very reliable and high power handling capability. So that's it. The 2M440 Plus looks exactly the same on the outside, but underneath it has a plus sign for the plus. And then lastly, we have the compact counterpoise, extremely lightweight, but very durable in comparison with what else is out, and ready to go for pattern and SWR and everything. And frankly, if you take the like I said, if you take the 2M440 Plus and you put it on this particular mount, that's all it is, right? And you put that on one of the nice masts in the back, even of an HOA or on a chimney. It's so stealth, yet I guarantee you, you'll be surprised. Amazingly powerful. And if you must be inside, well, you need that electromagnetic field diversity. It will do a very, very good job. And I run it inside the attic as well.
Very nice, Jack. Well, Jack, thanks so much for coming on today. It was great to see you as always, and lots of exciting things. And like I say, you can see all of Jack's products at dxengineering.com. Just put in COMPACTenna, and we're going to let you get back to manufacturing more neat stuff, Dr. Jack.
Well, thank you so much, Tim, and everybody at DXE that was of assistance and on a day-to-day basis. And thank you to all the customers out there. Have a wonderful week.
All right. Thanks again, Dr. Jack, and thanks to all of you for watching. And 73 from DX Engineering.